Okay, so we're on to the poem Beautiful Today, which I think I've already shared with both of you so far. Okay. Now, there's quite a few iconic references in this poem. So I just want to sort of go through them first with you just to see how familiar you are with them. Oops. So the first one we come across is Helen of Troy. So Theon, what do you know about Helen of Troy?
I don't think I've ever heard that before.
Sorry, say that again, Theon.
I don't think I've ever heard of that before.
You've never heard of Helen of Troy? My goodness. My goodness. Nadine, have you heard of Helen of Troy?
No.
No. Where have you been? What's happened to your education? What were you getting in history?
Like a C. I got straight bit.
Helen of Troy, there's a line that goes with it. She is the face that launched 1,000 ships. So, I mean, from Greek history. She supposedly, she is a very, 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 very beautiful woman, and she's the cause of the Trojan War. I've got a picture. There's old Helen of Troy down there. Just a little bit there, as you can see, a rather unfortunate way that she was brought about. In Greek mythology, there's an awful lot of Greek gods coming down to earth and messing about with human beings and upsetting their lives. Anyway, I mean, she's meant to be the sort of byproduct of Zeus in the shape of a swan of all things. After raping the leader, this pure human on earth, just going about their own business. Anyway, she grows up, beautiful woman, and she's married to Menelaus. And anyway, Paris comes and abducts her, takes her back to Troy, and then we have the 1,000 ships, and they bring her back after many years. They bring her back, so she is responsible for the whole. In theory, she is responsible for the whole Trojan War. And we can go on to that later on, and it's men obviously fighting over possession of a woman here. Do you know how the Trojan War comes to an end? You must know this one. Nadine, how does because the Trojan War goes on for years and years and years, and there's two armies kind of bogged down, a bit like our kind of World War One thing, and just sort of lots of wholesale slaughter on both sides, sort of thing. But nobody can get that sort of winning sort of push in the battle. And how does the war finally end? Because it's a pretty famous story. Sorry?
Isn't it with that wooden horse when they give it
to him? It is indeed. It is indeed. It's all brought to end by the Greeks bringing up the old wooden horse with the soldiers hidden inside. Hence the phrase, beware of Greeks bearing gifts, sort of thing. So that's the first one that we get mentioned in here. Then next one we have now, I'm sure you must have heard of Cleopatra. Theon, do you know who Cleopatra was?
Yes.
Yay! So who was Cleopatra?
Was she like a... It was in the Egyptian times, I know that.
Exactly, yeah.
Was she like a kind of ruler?
Yeah, she's a queen, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And again, supposed to be very beautiful. Whoops. And she's just like Helen of Troy. Oops, She brings about a war. This time it's between two Romans, though. It's Mark Antony, Julius Caesar. Both of whom have been lovers of Cleopatra. So the story goes. First of all, it's Julius Caesar. He takes Cleopatra, as his lover, sort of thing. However, Cleopatra falls in love with Mark Antony, who's Caesar's greatest general at the time. And Mark Antony starts spending more and more time in Egypt, and eventually they go to war, and Caesar is victorious and defeats Mark Antony. Battle of Actium on sea. And again, famously, how does Cleopatra die? It is in the Shakespearean play, Antony and Cleopatra. How does she kill herself at the end? Do you know? Gets an asp, a snake, a poison snake, and gets it to basically, bite her and inject its venom into her, and that's how she reportedly dies. Okay. Then after Cleopatra, I do believe we have the one that you'll all be familiar with, I'm sure. We then have Marilyn Monroe. Are you familiar with Marilyn Monroe, Nadine?
Wasn't that the actress?
That is the very one, yes. Oops. And she becomes a real sort of beauty icon of 1950s, 1960s America, and married to she's married to I think she gets married 3 times. To again, they're all high-profile Americans. It's from the world of sport, then also from drama. Arthur Miller, famous dramatist, and sort of high society in America, that sort of thing. But yeah, again, it's a bit it's a bit hazy how she finally dies, sort of thing. Again, famously found. It said, after repeatedly taking an overdose. But again, there's all sorts of conspiracy theories that surround that. Okay, and then last one that we have that's mentioned in here, which I'm sure, well, I know you all know, is Princess Diana. Now, just from, and again, obviously, you'll know much more about Princess Diana. That's far more commonplace. Oops, I'll just put that in here. So, okay, what do you see as a common link between these women from history, Helena of Troy, Cleopatra, Marilyn Monroe, and Princess Diana?
They're all like influencing like what it is
Yeah.
now.
Good. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay. Theon, what do you think? What else can you see maybe connecting all of them together? Just a bit.
They're all known for being very beautiful.
Yeah. Good. Yeah. Okay. Nadine, back to you. What else do you think seems to connect them?
Like they're all like they didn't really need help from like a man or something like that. They kind of just made themselves.
You have to backtrack in that one. I'm afraid. All
You
of
did
them.
your own thing?
No, all of them really. They are their lives basically are controlled very much by males. That's the thing. Although even like Helena Troy and Cleopatra, again, they're sort of powerful rulers in their time, sort of thing. But they are still very. The lives seem permanently entwined with males who seek to manipulate and control them. And again, if you've been watching The Crown, either you watched The Crown on Netflix?
No.
Oh, you need to watch it. Oh, for all the hoo-ha about Princess Diana and Charles that's been in the latest series. But I mean, again, that appears to be lots of control and manipulation going on in that relationship as well. And the same for Marilyn Monroe. Oops, gonna move that. Don't want to go there. Okay, so, and again, the other thing that kind of links them is they all meet a pretty dire end, whether by their own hand or by the hand of others, sort of thing. Okay, so now before we sort of get into this in sort of a great detail, I want to make a bit of space. No, it's insert one, isn't it, for this? Better. Little question for you. What do you think about that for a couple of minutes, and I'll get your thoughts back. I mean, this is a poem entitled "Beautiful." So I want you to think about how you would go about defining beauty. I mean, beauty is an idea, it's a concept, that sort of thing. I want you to think about how, if you were asked, how would you define beauty? What makes something beautiful? Give you just 5 minutes to gather your thoughts, to jot some ideas down, and then we'll compare notes there. Okay? Okay, Theon, how would you, if you were being asked to define beauty, how would you go about defining it?
Isn't there a saying like beauty is in the eye of the beholder?
That is indeed.
So does that kind of mean like it's just whatever you think it is? Like it could be
Yeah.
a lot of different things.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, good. Nadine, what about you? How would you define beauty? Oh, is Nadine's Wi-Fi going again? If I carry on with you at the moment, then Theon, just in case. That's how you would think about definition of beauty. How do you think society defines beauty?
I guess it like changes all the time, like different
Mm,
ideologies of what
yeah,
people look like.
yeah.
Sorry, mine keeps disconnecting me.
I thought that might be the case. So we were just carrying on there, so don't worry, we know she'll be able to catch up with the recording as well, sort of thing. Now we've got you back for a moment. If we can get you before it hopefully disappears again, how do you define beauty, Nadine? How would you, if somebody asked you, what's your idea of something or someone that is beautiful, sort of thing? I think she may have dropped again. Hang on, let's carry on. So yeah, as you were saying, Fionn, yeah, society defines beauty in different ways, isn't it? Some things that are common, though, I think, isn't it? There's a physicality to it, and there appears to be an age limit to it as well. Oops.
I'm back.
Oh, hiya. Right, you give us a quick answer before you disappear again. How would you define beauty?
Like kindness and like a personality.
Ah, right. So it's an inner quality as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Do you think, first to Nadine and then to Fiona, do you think, and if we think about the way that society judges beauty, do you think that society judges male beauty and female beauty in different ways, Nadine?
Yeah, to a point.
Yeah. What do you think the difference is?
Like, boys are being about like six packs and all that, and then girls are more like now it's like curvy, so it's like
Yeah.
different.
Yeah. And what about you, Fiona? What do you think? Do you think society judges beauty differently depending which gender you are?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's maybe like a little bit more kind of expecting on women, and like you
Yeah.
see, I don't know, you just see more like female celebrities like on magazines and stuff rather than guys usually.
This way. Is there a certain age, and it's probably getting better now because we've had all the different, the Me Too movements and all those sorts of things. But you think about it, as a man gets older, does that impact upon whether he's defined as being, handsome, beautiful, that sort of thing? Does age take its toll on a man in the same way as it does for a woman?
Kind of, because like women are seen like not to like they worry about their wrinkles more than and like looking younger than looking prettier, and
Yeah.
men are being like I don't know. Like, not
Well,
really.
isn't it? I think, isn't it? Men are just allowed to get old. I mean, like a man with grey hair. You talk about a man with grey hair. It makes him look distinguished. That's, I think they should say in my year sort of thing. It'd be if that one. Oh, it shows that they're aging gracefully and all that sort of thing. Whereas, like you were hinting at there, Nadine, it's that idea that females have to maintain their looks and get rid of the wrinkles and all that sort of stuff, and do things to sort of try to fight back time. Whereas it doesn't seem to have that same impact on men. And again, I used to find this in the sort of acting, wasn't it? The roles for women as they get older in films and dramas sort of seemed to dry up. Whereas with men, it wasn't the same case. And it seemed to be that this was unfair. And we're getting a little bit of this being tackled, I think, and also being explored in this poem. So we'll just look at that opening verse there. She was born from an egg, a daughter of the gods, divinely fair, a pearl, drop-dead gorgeous, beautiful, a peach, a child of grace, a stunner in her face, the star-like sorrows of immortal eyes, who looked there loved. Now, if we can, the first thing I want to focus on is that use of, oops, got the wrong one, that use of listing by Duffy, which is quite common in a lot of her poetry. Okay, so we have those definitions of female beauty here. How do you react to that list of definitions of female beauty there? Are there any that you think are okay, good, and conversely, are there others that you think, oh, that's just a terrible way to express something? So if you jot down your ideas, what you notice about that list there that Duffy is employing. So I mean, again, it is in a way it's use of synonyms, sort of colloquial expression here to define beauty. What do you notice about the terms that she uses? Again, just give you sort of 2-3 minutes to jot your ideas down and then hear back from you. Okay, if I can come to you first, Theon, how do you react to that list of terms for, synonyms for beauty there?
It's like when it says divinely fair, is that talking about like the color of her skin?
Yeah, well, it's the color of skin, and again, if you talk about something being divine, what is that? What is that? Going back to your RS, Theon? Well, if something is divine,
Is it like kind of perfect?
it is, isn't it? Yeah. So we're thinking of fair-skinned, yeah, and it is. Whoops, double N, forgot. Yeah, fair-skinned, and almost you could think about it here as divine. So it's heavenly, a heavenly beauty, perfection, as you say. Whoops. Okay, yeah, good. Thank you. What about you, Nadine? Anything that you react to in that listing?
It shows like that she's putting effort to look that way.
Right, yeah, and it could be effort, effort, to maintain those looks that she's got. How do you react to the phrase "drop dead gorgeous"? The pair of you, do you think is that a nice compliment? Would you be happy to receive such a compliment?
Yeah, because it's like a massive shock. Like it's, oof, it's like one of them.
Yeah, yeah, okay, yeah. So is that sort of it takes your breath away, sort of thing? Yeah. Okay. How would you react then if someone called you or one of your friends, a stunner?
It kind of puts you out from like everybody else. It kind of like singles you out,
Hmm.
looking pretty.
Yeah. And again, by having that sort of comment made as well, what do you think that they're focusing on? Are they, because you were, as you mentioned in your ideas, Nadine, about, you're looking at, for beauty, it goes hand in hand with the personality, those inner traits that a person may have. For somebody to make these comments, are they focusing on personality, or are they just focusing on physical beauty, do you think?
Just the physical beauty.
Isn't it? It's just that sort of surface detail all the time. That's how it's being defined from the off here, and it is very much. Although these poems are, all the characters contained within this poem are female, you get from the off. This is like very much from a male perspective that Duffy is writing these poems. Yeah, good. So then. And with Drop Dead Gorgeous as well. I mean, it says. You have that sort of sense of taking the breath away, but also a bit of foreshadowing. As we find out, these characters that she takes from history, it's almost like their beauty leads to their death, sort of thing. So an element of foreshadowing there, and then yep, the last one we picked out there, a stunner. That's more, one place, sort of demotic language. It's everyday language that is being used there, but the focus is on the physicality. Okay, so we've got that male perspective coming through here. And it carries on. She won the heart of every man she saw. They stood and before we carry on, sorry, that as well, the final line in that opening verse, who looked there loved. That gives that kind. I think that gives a kind of idea of females being a temptress. It's almost that they cannot help themselves. The minute you eyes fall upon these a woman like Helen of Troy, that's it. You're ensnared. You're enraptured. You're mesmerized by the beauty. That idea, and it's just that sort of automatic reaction. Who looked there loved, so immediately you fall in love. Okay. So she won the heart of every man she saw. They stood in line, sighed, knelt, beseeched, be mine. She married one, but every other mother's son swore to be true to her till death, enchanted by the perfume of her breath, her skin's celebrity. Now, again, that sort of idea of being bewitched, further enhanced by that idea, by that use of the word there, enchanted. Okay. Oops. Okay, so that with the enchanted, it reinforces that bewitching idea, as if a spell's been cast on them. What sort of picture do you think that second verse is beginning to paint of Helen of Troy? Theon, ask you first. How's Duffy sort of building up the personality of Helen of Troy's character here? How does she come across to you?
Like everybody wants her.
So she's desirable. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Anything else?
About her.
Yeah,
Like
about her.
personality.
Yeah. What about the line, Fiona? I'll just make it a bit bigger here. What about this? Her skin's celebrity. What's that kind of suggestion, do you think? Oops.
I'm not too sure, sorry.
Okay, that's all right. That's okay. Nadine, you get any idea there? Her skin's celebrity. What's that kind of suggesting is the most important thing about her?
That like when you see celebrities, like they're all got clear skin and all that perfect, so she could be like that.
Yeah, good. So it's almost like, you know, that perfect skin that she's got. Again, it's going back to that physicality of her beauty. It's what defines her. It's what has made her notorious. You know, everybody talks about Helen of Troy, how beautiful she is, how she has that perfect skin, that perfect figure, all of those sorts of ideas. Yeah. But again, everything connecting to that sort of physicality of her appearance. That's what's linked in with it. And so it carries on. So when she took a lover, fled, was nowhere to be seen, her side of the bed unslept and cold, the small coin of the wedding ring left on the bedside table like a tip, the wardrobe end empty of the drama of her clothes. It was war. Okay. Now, got an intriguing line in there. You know, that small coin of her wedding ring. So we've got the idea of the shape of the ring. You know, that roundness, just like a coin. Does it spark off any other ideas to either of you? You know, it gets mentioned that it's like left on the bedside table like a tip. What's that maybe bringing into it?
Wealth.
Yeah, but maybe a bit of wealth, and also something that you thought about in shopping, Nadine. You know, when we talked about the impact of shopping upon her, and you came up with one idea. You said it made her sound a little bit like, you know, with all the exchanging of money, exchanging of cards.
Yeah.
Now, what would you come up with? That? You know,
It's cutting out again.
oh, sorry. Okay, not to worry. I think with that, oops. It's that idea, you know, with the coin, the wedding rib, there's a tip left on the bedside table. There is that kind of sense of almost like prostituting herself again, you know, with a man, that sort of idea. It's money left for services rendered, that sort of idea. And it makes her come across, doesn't it, that appear quite sort of flighty, and like she flits from one lover to a next. That sort of idea. There's no sort of fidelity or faithfulness about her. And of course, and it seems as the most natural thing to follow from that is that, you know, if she runs off with another man, then that means war. Okay. And then we have the famous quote of 1,000 ships. That one, a face under 1,000 ships, and every one 1,000 men, each heaving at an oar. each with her face before his stinging eyes, her name tattooed upon the muscle of his arms, a handkerchief she dropped once for his lucky charm, each seeing her as the local girl made good, the girl next door, a princess with a common touch, queen of his heart, pin-up superstar, the heads of every coin he'd tossed, the smile in every note he'd bet at cards, bragged and shoved across 1,000 miles of sea. I want you to think there about how males are reacting and defining Helen of Troy in that section there. Just take a little moment to sort of process that verse there that Duffy's written, and look at it from what is it that the male characters appear to be sort of saying, suggesting about her. Yeah. So Theon, what lines kind of leap out at you in this third verse, and how do you see Helen of Troy being sort of defined through male eyes? How are they seeing her? How are they viewing her?
Like where it says her name tattooed on the muscle of his arm, and
Yeah,
like
good.
she's on the coins, on the notes and everything. Like she's kind of everywhere for them.
Yeah.
Like a celebrity kind of.
Good. And the fact that they have her name tattooed on her arms, what does that kind of suggest? What do you think? How is it? Why would they get her name tattooed on their arms?
She's kind of like an idol in a way, but not like
Good. Yeah. And do you think that they own her through the name on the arm?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a form of possession, isn't it? Is that, to have that name. So, and again, you think about it, tattoo is it's like branding again, isn't it? That sort of thing. And it's once it's there, you can't get rid, that's it, done. Okay, good. How about you, Nadine? What did you pick out from this verse?
That like she's like not liked, but like actually yeah, but it's more.
Yeah, I think it's fair
trance.
to say that she's like Nadine. Yeah, carry on. Yeah.
It's like a trance that she's got over people.
Yeah, and look at all these different ways that she is defined. The seer has the local girl made good, the girl next door. Now these sorts of ideas, they all go about there. Really, it's about suggesting a kind of innocence to a local girl made good, the girl next door. It's that idea, that maybe she's a little bit sort of naive, and it's almost heading back to try, even though she's been married to a king, even though she's got a lover, it's given her that kind of sort of virginal quality as well. She's untouched. And then we have her elevated to the status a princess with the common touch, queen of his heart. Who else did you know got referred to as the Queen of Hearts?
That evil one from Alice in Wonderland.
Yeah. I suddenly realised when I'd said that one might pop up. But it was somebody else. I mean, again, you might all be too young. Your parents would definitely know this. But one of the characters that we've mentioned, that one of the female characters that we have identified in this poem was referred to as the Queen of Hearts by the general public, basically, for all the good work that she was doing and how she was viewed by the general public. Dressed up, I guess.
I've got not a clue.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. That was how Princess Diana got referred to quite often in the press. If you go back and look at old press clippings, and it was to kind of reflect her all the charity work that she was doing, and again, she was all these terms were about being a local girl and the girl next door. These were all kind of ways that Diana was sort of defined and referred to herself, even although she came from, you know, sort of landed aristocracy as such. But she was seen as this, having a sort of common touch with the general public. She wasn't seen as that sort of remote member of the royal family. And so even early on in this poem, Duffy making those kind of allusions from Helen of Troy all the way forward to Princess Diana. It's that sort of idea that connects all these women down through history. Okay. Good. So we've got that. And again, she's seen as that princess with a common touch. So not being aloof, able to interact with, her subjects, the general public, that sort of idea. And again, this was something that was again referenced with Diana sort of thing. But then we see that it's a little bit different. It moves on, it becomes a bit more sort of overtly sexual. It says, meanwhile, lovely she lay high up in a foreign castle's walls, clasped in a hero's brawn, loved and loved and loved again. Her cries like the bird of calamities, drifting down to the boys at the gate, who marched now to the syllables of her name. Now with this verse here, again, she's still very much being defined and seen through the eyes of her partner, and who is defined here as a hero, and a hero's brawn. Brawn, do you know what brawn means at all? Either Nadine or Theon? Have a stab at that word?
I've got no idea.
Right. What would you expect a hero to have? Lots of what? So we've got that brawn. That just means a sort of physical, a real sort of physicality about them, strength. So again, in the kind of old jargon, he's a real man's man sort of thing. And so he's this classic stereotypical hero, and she is clasped in his arms sort of thing. It's that idea, and that's how she's getting defined, being possessed once again by a male. And again, all this sort of sense of foreshadowing going on as well, because she's like a bird of calamity, and drifts down. And again, interestingly, they're described as boys, so reducing them a bit, taking that bit of masculinity away from them, and they all march now to the syllables of her name. And again, if you think of it, Helen is a two-syllable word, so it works neatly into that march and footsteps in time, that sort of thing. And just to try and finish her off before the end of this lesson here, next verse is, beauty is fame. Some said she turned into a cloud and floated home, falling there like rain or tears upon her husband's face. Some said her lover woke to find her gone, his sword and clothes gone too, before they sliced a last grin in his throat. And so all this kind of speculation about her end. And so here what we have is that sort of sense of myth and reality colliding here. Whoops, that idea of some said it's one idea, some said, and that's repeated here. And then in the next verse, it's going to be some swore. So all these various sort of stories that build up to surround it. And again, it's how these sort of, the kind of myth that gets built up around these kind of celebrities about how they are meeting their end and whatnot from history here. Again, it shows the faithlessness appears to come from her again rather from the male, because again it's this idea, some say, that her lover woke to find her gone just as she left her husband. She leaves again, when in reality, as from history, she is just forcibly taken back to her husband. That's how it actually goes. But again, Duffy's sort of playing about with all these sort of what we think about now is conspiracy theories about how she meets her end and what happens at the hands of male. Again, all the time, her life being defined by males, not making any choices for herself. Her life is controlled, driven by males, and they define what happens to her each and every step of the way. Okay, so as we've got to the end of Helen, because it's a lengthier poem, this one. As we've got to the end of Helen, it seems a good place to pause, and we'll pick up with Cleopatra and Marilyn Monroe tomorrow. Now, I found another really good video clip from another teacher who does YouTube things as well, and I'll give you a lot more insights as well into the poem from different perspective from a different teacher. And again, it's one of these ones where they've pre-recorded a lesson which I've obviously set up just to be studied remotely in their school, but you can sort of pick and stop the video clip as you want to. I'll put that into our Teams as well for you to be able to access, so it'll give you a bit more background, a bit more detail as well about the poem, so you can just watch it at your leisure. And I'll also put it onto the YouTube channel we've got there, so it'll be in two places. But just that'll be something else a bit more useful for you as well, to sort of enhance your knowledge of the poem and see that it's not all just me yabbering at you all the time. Okay?
Thank you.
You're very welcome, and I will see you tomorrow. And we'll have Daniel in the lesson tomorrow because it's period 1, I do believe. So time is okay for him at that point. Okay.
See you later.
Right, see you later. Thank you.
Thank you.